All right, good afternoon, everyone. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you. I got a lot of positive feedback on my combo video, and I also appreciate hearing some of your guys' variations on the combos and your takes on the deck. But I wanted to show off my post-Maze Mermail list. It's relatively similar to what I played at the regional, but I made a few optimizations. I think for that regional, I only had one locals of testing, so I felt like I wasn't able to get into the theory as much as I thought, and there were just a few optimizations that I wanted to show off in this video. I was able to get top 4 at a case tournament on Saturday with a similar list. I was pretty stoked to pull the D-mod CR, but getting into the list, we have 3 Neptibus, 3 Rhine, 3 Squad, 3 Dragoons, and then getting into the 7s, we have 3 Teus and 2 Poseidra, everything pretty standard so far. And then I played the same fish package as the regional. I played the Coelacanth, the 2 Pike, the Gluttonous, and the Tuna. Tuna was still great. It helped me play a couple times. No complaints there. And it got me a 4 from deck when I was summoning it off the big rank 7. So happy about that as well. And then Testudo, obviously. I think this card has gotten a little worse as Yummy has gotten more popular in other decks that can play around it. So it's worth keeping in mind you can't always just rely on Testudo pass. You have to make a read on your matchups. And then Infantry, Moulin Glace, Deep Sea Minstrel, 2 Penguin. And this is one change I made from the regional list. I include 1 Deep Sea Diva now. I think this is important, not just as a first turn consistency piece, but also for the pushes going second. Just being able to summon Squad from deck and getting basically an instant rank 7 at the cost of a discard is important. It allows pushes that you otherwise couldn't make. It also helps you make the deep sea synchro in your extra under niche scenarios. So I think it's really nice, and I want to give a shout out to King J for this idea as well. I saw a lot of his dueling book replays where he was able to make pushes that he couldn't otherwise make because he has Diva in the deck. And then getting into the non-engine here, played 3 Fua, 3 Perulia, and then also played 3 Ash, 3 Impulse, and then I added this in. I added 1 Imperman, which looks a little funny, but because you have the extra Diva of consistency, you're able to add in another non-engine piece. So the deck is 42 cards now. I think it kind of works with the amount of breaks you're playing. I generally don't like to go above 40, but 40-42 range is acceptable. And then getting in the extra deck, Lavirtue Dragon, Gaios, Trite, Poseidra, all of these standard, I kept the same. Anemone, I played Lizardos instead of Lacia. I felt like Lacia wasn't really giving me meaningful interruption, and that I'd rather have the Lizardos to get me a draw in some niche scenarios or to just clear bodies off my field. This card was okay, I'd say. I don't think it made a meaningful difference between playing this and the Lacia at the case tournament, but I could see other situations where this might be important. And then the King Neptibus. I play a new side card, which makes this even better, that I'll show off. And then the synchros, we have the 2 Penguin targets, Prima Donna, Monoceros, Dragite, Ravenous, Trish, Changing. I kept my synchro lineup the same. I know I said in my other regional profile that I was considering adding in the Ice Jade for this, but I think Crocosaur, just being able to draw cards, and also it does serve as that pop. If you're going against the Vanquish Soul matchup, you can pop the Raisin on summon. That's one thing you can consider. You don't always have to end on the Adrian. I think you do want this just to have the option of drawing. All right, and getting into the side deck, this is where I'd say I'd make the most modifications. So 1 Minstrel and 1 First Penguin. Change the ratio slightly just to add consistency. I think 2 Minstrel is more than acceptable when you're siding for going first, and the Penguin just always gives you an additional push going first. Sometimes you'll open Minstrel and you only have 6 costs for Minstrel that are truly powerful or truly replenishing. So I think 2 is somewhat more mathematically sound in addition to the third first penguin going in. And then the third Poseidra, I still stay strong in the theory of siding this in going first and going second. I think it's strong as a water name, strong as a board breaker, just a really solid side deck card. And then Pot, called by, and this is my new addition. I'm playing Mizuchi instead of the Warlock. Basically, in all my testing, I've never summoned Warlock once, whether it's in the events I've played, whether it's in play testing, and this card is just so much easier to get out. Essentially, you can get it for free with the rank 3 when you pay a cost of sending a water monster, and you can resolve this twice because if you have your Rhine in grave and you banish it in the opponent's turn, discard a water, you can re-equip it to the link 3. So I think this is really strong, and you can negate stuff like Super Poly Droplet that might otherwise be awkward when you see it in your opponent's hand. So I think this is solid. I didn't actually play this at the case tournament, but I wanted to include this in the deck because I just think this is more correct than playing the Warlock. I don't think you need to completely lock your opponent out of spells. And there's a lot of decks where you just need the 1 or 2 spell negates. And this is just so much easier to access. You don't have to end on the awkward board of Warlock plus Trishula and have the liability of your opponent just summoning bodies and attacking over the Warlock. So yeah, this is something I'm currently testing, but in theory, it just seems more correct. So wanted to include it. And then all of these are the same. So 2 Droll, then Gamma Seal, 3 arrows, still absurd. I did run into a situation where this almost helped me OTK. He scooped right when I went to battle phase, but I almost ran into like the Duel Links scenario of anti-magic arrows where you activate it turn 3 when you enter battle and attack for game. So pretty funny stuff. And then played 3 evenly. This card overperformed. I've seen a lot of people playing outs for Di-Fi, like Spiritualism, Gordian Slicer. I just don't think those cards are very real. Like, they require you to, let's say, lose game 1 against decks like Radiant Typhoon. You already have a great matchup game 1 against Radiant Typhoon, so not too worried about that. And then, game 3, let's say they are going first, they only have 33% chance of drawing Di-Fi, and then you have, certain outs as well. Like, if you open Rhine plus any Mermail Atlantean, you can still play under Di-Fi. So I think those outs are kind of fake. I'd rather use Evenly, which has, just a wider scope. You're able to out the Vanquished Soul Canine boards, the Crystron Canine boards, any sort of wide board that would otherwise be hard to break. You want to have the utility to break that. And then, as I mentioned in my other videos, like, you can play a lot during main phase 2, whether it's your Banish or your setting up to Studio as well. So I like Evenly. I don't think you really need to play the outs to Di-Fi. Sure, it sucks, game 3 if you get Di-Fi'd plus the full combo, but I just think mathematically you're gonna be happier with something like Evenly in your deck. But yeah, that's it for the deck. I just wanted to show kind of my slight modifications post-Maze. I still think this is a fantastic meta call, even though there's slightly less Draco Tail, slightly less Radiant Typhoon than expected. Still a really strong deck, and I'm excited to continue to make changes. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time.